Hallihallo, hallöchen, meine lieben Freunde, herzlich willkommen zurück in Skyrim. Wir befinden uns hier gerade bei der Charaktermission von INIGO und es tut mir nochmal leid wegen letzter Folge, wegen meinem schrecklichen Englisch. Ich wollte mich nochmal kurz hier umsehen, weil ja die ganze Zeit in den Büchern beschrieben worden ist, dass er Sachen eingesammelt hat, wie zum Beispiel den Helm oder hier auch die Keule von dem Riesen. Brennende Bär. Ich glaube, das Lied muss ich mir von INIGO nochmal vorsingen lassen. Ich glaube, das habe ich noch nicht ihn singen lassen. So.
Speak to me.
Erzähl mir etwas über deine Prophezeiung.
I will tell you what I know.
Was ist diese Prophezeiung eigentlich?
Okay, the INIGO prophecy. Somewhere out there in the world, there is a very nasty being gathering its strength. If left unchecked, it will grow until its evil influence burns away all that is good in this world. It has appeared in Langley's dreams for many years, often as a gigantic figure striding through the land, leaving nothing but pain, anguish, and death in its wake. He calls it the Doomstrider. In the same dream, he sometimes sees a handsome blue Khajiit defeat the menace with his help. He calls this fellow the Champion. That is me, my friend. Much of Langley's prophecy is hazy, and he says that sometimes his dreams show more than one possible outcome. But now he and I have finally met, he believes we stand a good chance of preventing much suffering.
Darf ich ein paar der Details erfahren, die du mit Langley ausgetauscht hast?
What details can I help you with?
Was kannst du mir erzählen über den Doomstrider?
Not much, I'm afraid. Langley is the man to ask about that. All I know is that I am destined to fight whatever or whoever it is. I hope you will be at my side when the time comes, my friend. Of course, I will do my best to keep this from interfering with my debt to you.
Ich bin immer bei dir auf dem Weg, INIGO.
It warms my heart to hear you say that, my friend. With your help, I know I can finally put some good back into this world.
Erzählst du mir etwas über die Bücher, die Langley dir gegeben hat?
They are called In Search of a Champion and Da Vinci's Journal. My father wrote the journal, and Langley wrote In Search of a Champion. Langley's books contain the story of his search for me, and a few tales about Fergus and I. The journal is my father's personal account of our upbringing. In my opinion, the books are informative and quite moving.
Was hast du über deine Vergangenheit gelernt?
Like all Khajiit, my physical characteristics were probably determined by the moons at my birth. I seem to be the product of a very rare celestial alignment that only occurs briefly, every few hundred years or so. In the backward village where I was born, a blue child was seen as a bad moon omen. I would have been sacrificed if my birth mother had not smuggled Fergus and I away.
War Fergus auch in Gefahr?
We were not identical, but we were twins. Perhaps his life was forfeit by association. Whatever the case, I like to think that my birth mother could not bear the idea of separating us.
Wenn dein Zwilling war, warum war er nicht blau?
I can only guess that there was enough time between our births for the moons to shift. Langley thinks the alignment that produced me may only last for a few moments. I am incredibly unique, my friend.
Das bist du.
Not much. I hope you will be at my side when the time... What would you like to know?
Erzähl mir über Langley.
He is interesting.
Wie funktionieren seine Visionen?
Langley has dreams that often come true. He usually foresees the beginning, the middle, or the end of a future event, but never all three. So he may know that a man at the market will get into a fight, but he won't know why. Or he will see a dead man at the market, but not know how he died. To make matters worse, He sometimes sees 2 or more possible endings. Until we met, he couldn't be sure that we ever would. He is understandably relieved.
Erzähl mir über seine Suche nach dir.
Ever since I appeared in his dreams, he has been looking for me. All he knew in the beginning was that the champion was Khajiit, avoided death at an early age, and had blue fur. He finally heard about a remote village among the shifting sands of elsewhere that ritualistically sacrifices any child born among their number whose fur is blue. He deduced that the champion was likely a blue child from this village that somehow escaped their fate. He set off in search of the village, but on the way he found Riverhold and heard about me. This was a few years after Fergus and I left to find our fortune though, so he began tracking us. Along the way he heard tales about my brother and I. He even collected mementos from our endeavors. You can see a few of them over there on those shelves by the chest. After finding Fergus, lying among the remains of our camp, he lost track of me. The years went by, and he grew weary. He eventually returned here, and employed a group of adventurers to continue the search for me, and to look for any signs of the Doomstrider. He also paid a conjuration mage to concoct a summon INIGO spell. My mind vibrations were the result of him trying unsuccessfully to use the spell. What would you like to know?
Was passiert nun?
We wait for Langley to receive more information either from his sources or his dreams. When he hears something new, he will let us know.
Wie will er uns kontaktieren?
He will use the summon spell to vibrate my mind again. My mind is not looking forward to it. Okay.
Ja.
In this... That is... But now he and I have finally met. Okay. That figure surrounded by fire in the picture over there must be the Doomstrider. I do not like the look of those eyes. Langley's pictures are very unusual. He has a style all his own. They are a bit impressionistic, but accurate. This place smells safe and fascinating. I'm afraid not.
Okay, dann haben wir alles mit INIGO besprochen. Jetzt können wir noch mit Langley reden.
Hello.
Hätte ich was fragen?
I don't know. Can you?
Kannst du mir meine Zukunft voraussagen?
I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. Whenever I try to force a prediction, the results are usually extremely vague. My more accurate visions come to me in the form of dreams, though even then they show possibilities, not definite outcomes.
Hast du irgendwelche Träume über mich gehabt?
No, not yet anyway. I occasionally get flashes of Mr. Dragonfly, but that probably doesn't mean very much. Over time, Inigo's fascination with the little fellow has obviously seeped into my dreams. I wouldn't feel too left out, though. If you have a place in all this, I'm sure you'll show up eventually.
Ich würde gerne mehr über die Prophezeiung von dir erfahren.
The Inigo prophecy. Yes. What do you want to know?
Erzähl mir alles.
Oh dear, I don't have time for that. Inigo knows a fair bit, and you have those books I gave him, if you know how to read. You look fairly learned, but appearances can be deceptive. If you want someone to explain information to you that you already have written down, ask Inigo.
Wie weißt du, dass seine Prophezeiungen Wirklichkeit werden?
The truth is, I don't, but let's look at the evidence, shall we? On average, the accuracy of my visions is about 90%. That percentage goes up when the event I predict is closer in time and, or, the subjects of the event are known to me. The fact that Inigo and I have now met and had a chat suggests the chance the rest of my vision will come to pass has increased substantially. Do you follow?
Yes.
Good.
Erzähl mir etwas über den Doomstrider.
I'm horrified by how little I actually know on the subject. I think it's a human, or at least I believe it walks in a human form. My dreams and visions are often metaphorical, so it's hard to discern exactly what it is, or the nature of the destruction it'll bring.
Also als er jetzt gesagt hat, dass das Doomstrider eine menschliche Form hat, ist meine Vermutung, entweder er wird behaupten, ich bin das Doomstrider, oder er wird der Doomstrider. Wie sieht der Doomstrider in deinen Träumen aus?
There are two dreams. In both, I see a towering, dead-minded, red-eyed monstrosity walking the world, leaving sorrow, death, and despair in its wake. The very gods are powerless to intervene. In one vision, I see them watch in horror as Nirn decays and rots.
Was passiert in einer anderen Vision?
That one is a little better. It starts out in much the same way, but this time the champion is there to stop the Doomstrider. I see a baby blue Khajiit elude death before his first birthday. I see him grow into a great warrior. I see him and I talking in earnest, and I see the gods rejoice as he defeats the demon.
In deiner Vision, wie besiegt INIGO den Doomstrider?
That is unclear to me. Perhaps now Inigo and I are known to one another, my dreams will offer up a clearer picture. I'll be sure to keep him posted.
Sind deine Versionen von dem Doomstrider metaphorisch?
Yes, I hope so. I'm inclined to believe that the images I see are not literal. The destruction I witness could be my mind's way of translating any great catastrophe. Perhaps the Doomstrider is an evil man who gains great power. Perhaps it's not a man at all. Maybe it represents famine or disease, or even a wicked idea that infects every mind it touches. That said, considering Inigo is the champion, and his skill set revolves around killing, I think it is more likely that the Doomstrider has a corporeal form. The very gods are... That one. I see him and I talking,
So.
I suppose.
Ich würde gerne mehr über dich erfahren.
I'm an intelligent and very complex man. Try being more specific.
Erzähl mir über deine Vergangenheit.
I'm a native of Skyrim, but I moved to Cyrodiil in my teens. I had a talent for magic, and I was packed off to the Imperial City on an apprenticeship. I never joined a guild or anything. I received my training from an angry little man called Barton Barrius. Bit of a pyromaniac, but a decent sort really. He never used his powers against humans, wouldn't hear of it, but he enjoyed burning everything else. Anyway, he taught me a great deal about destruction magic, alchemy, and even how to hone my visions. He imbued in me a thirst for knowledge, and I soon began researching a variety of subjects outside the discipline of magic. When I returned to Skyrim, I traveled the hills, making gold by predicting the weather for farmers and such. But my main focus soon became science.
Was ist Science, Wissenschaft?
It's like magic, but more reliable. It's all about systematically building knowledge and collecting testable explanations. In short, it is the study of everything.
Du würdest dich gut mit Lucien verstehen, wahrscheinlich. Wann begann es, dass du Vision bekommen hast?
When I was very young, after I managed to convince people they were real, my father called them a gift. Most of the time, they're a bloody curse. For instance, I knew my mother was going to leave my father before she did. It's hard for a 9-year-old to know what to do with that information.
Okay. Was machst du hier?
I write and I experiment. I research and observe. I spend my days mapping out theories and ideas that strengthen humanity's intellectual grasp. I may not be very well known here, but my studies have earned me good standing among certain more rational factions of society. I suppose.
Erzähl mir etwas über deine Paintings, Bilder.
What can I tell you about them?
Sind sie Bilder von deinen Visionen?
Yes, I discovered my love of art in the Imperial City. Now I mainly use my talents to depict what I see in my dreams. I paint them as soon as I wake up. I find that locking a dream in place, in the form of a picture, often lends further insight.
Wo kriegst du deine Materialien her?
I make my own. I mix various ingredients with a little oil to create paint. And I've discovered a skeever's tail makes quite a decent brush. Unorthodox, but functional. The ability to improvise is useful when one is so far from civilization. I suppose.
Erzähl mir etwas über diesen Ort.
What do you want to know?
Was ist mit dieser Statue draußen?
I believe a group of Talos worshippers used to live here. I'm not sure where they went, but I fear they may have suffered an attack of some sort. When I first arrived, there were a few collapsed shacks and a destroyed stable, too. This is the only building that was intact. I needed to re-thatch the roof and fix areas of the walkway, but other than that, it was in tip-top condition.
Erzähl mir etwas über die Sachen, die in den Regalen
They
stehen.
are relics of Inigo's past. The skulls are all that is left of a coven of witches he and his brother destroyed. The club belonged to the first giant he killed, and the big helmet at the top was once the property of Browulf the Broad, a fearsome tyrant. That one was a near thing, but Inigo and Fergus dispatched him in the end. The stories behind each item are in the books I gave Inigo.
Lebst du hier alleine?
Yes, I find that stupidity can be contagious. To maintain one's intellectual prowess, it is important to keep one's distance from society as a whole. Of course, this does not apply to Inigo, and since he likes you so much, I'll suffer your company for as long as he wants you around. I suppose.
Erzähl mir etwas über den Beschwörungsspell von Inigo.
It's rubbish. Tosh. Hardly works at all. All it seems to do is give poor Inigo vague directions to the summoner, and a headache.
Vielleicht machst du es falsch.
I followed the instructions dutifully. There's no reason it shouldn't work. No one knows Inigo better than I do.
Was hat das damit zu tun?
The conjuration mage who created the spell told me that as long as I was Inigo's true friend, I should be able to get it to work. It's clearly broken. I'm the greatest ally Inigo has.
Inigo und ich, wir kennen uns ziemlich gut.
Oh, I'm sure you know him a little, but I've been studying him for decades. No, if the spell doesn't work for me, it won't work for anyone. Isn't that right, Inigo?
I think you should let her try it.
Exactly. What? Why?
Langley, I am sure we are great allies in the making, but my friend here and I have a more immediate bond.
What do you mean? Oh, I didn't realize you were an item.
Not that kind of bond. We have traveled together. We have enjoyed sharing our views on many subjects. We have fought bravely side by side. I have placed my life in her hands. What I'm trying to say is, we are friends. Go on, hand over a copy of the spell. I am the only one who will suffer if it goes wrong.
I see. I won't argue with you, even though it's a waste of time. I will do as you ask.
Thank you. What is the worst that can happen?
You don't want to know. If we're going to do this, we must be scientific. Inigo, you stay here, and your friend and I will go outside. Once we're on the path, I'll give you the spell, and you can try unsuccessfully to teleport INIGO to us. Stare vacantly if you understand.
Good luck, my friend. I will wait and brace myself.
Okay, you can quit the vacant gazing routine now. Come on, we should head outside and get this over with.
Warum denken manche Leute nur, weil sie die Geschichte von jemandem studiert haben, dass sie die Person dann auch wirklich kennen? This guy gives me the creeps.
Right, let's get started. Here is the spell.
Objekte, Bücher. Was ist das? Spelltome.
Inconceivable! Just you wait, I bet your hands explode when you cast it.
Ja, das würdest du dir wünschen, hä? Beschwörung, Summon INIGO und gleich im... Nein, nicht das im Favoriten. Nicht das. Das im Favoriten.
What? How did you do that? Whoa! It worked! I am outside!
I don't know what to say.
Let us test its range. Try to place me farther away. Do it again. Let us test its range. Try to place me farther away. Do it again.
Da.
That felt good. This is amazing. My friend, that was wonderful. Did you see? One moment I was inside, casually not tasting Langley's cooking, then whoosh. I saw your face and I was out here. It was amazing.
Wie hat es jetzt angefühlt?
It feels good. No mind vibrations at all. It is like a brief warm embrace, followed by a pleasant floaty sensation. There is something else.
Was?
When you summoned me, I felt like I had a choice. That I could choose not to go if I didn't want to. This is a fantastic tool, my friend. I knew you could do it. You are outstanding.
Observation. The subject seems to be physically unaffected by the spell. He is, however, exhibiting poor character judgment.
You are a funny fellow, Langley. Poor character judgment, my tale. My friend here did a fantastic job getting the spell to work.
Note, the subject is clearly delusional.
The subject does not sound nearly as good as the champion. Did I offend you in some way? I hope not. Without you, we never would have gained such a wonderful spell. I hope you know we are grateful for all you have done.
It's not you, INIGO. It's
me.
her. The spell shouldn't work with just anyone. It was supposed to form a link between us. This idiot broke it.
I think that maybe the spell works because of the link my friend and I already share. You should not take it personally. We three are a team now. We need each other and should not be fighting amongst ourselves.
You and I are a team. All this moron can do is collect eggs. How useful is that going to be when we take on the Doomstrider?
That is only one of my friend's many talents. Trust me, you could not wish for a more worthy ally.
We shall see. I hope you're right. I'm getting cold. I think I'll head inside. Feel free to make yourself at home and stay as long as you like. When you leave, I'll be sure to contact you with my lesser version of the spell if I hear anything new.
Thank you, Langley. I am glad we finally met.
I am too. I can see you're every bit the champion this world needs. I'll see you soon. I'm sorry if I spoke out of turn earlier. I'm sure you don't mean to be annoying.
Für INIGO. Für INIGO. Entschuldigung angenommen, INIGO hat recht, wir sollten versuchen miteinander auszukommen.
Yes, I agree. Please don't take anything I say to heart. I know I can be insufferable at times. Right. Goodbye for now.
I am glad you are giving Langley a chance, my friend. I believe he means well, even if he is not very good at showing it.
Will du deinen Kopf abschlagen?
I do not blame you. He is quite a character. But accepting his apology helped smooth things over, I think. Anyway, we solved the mystery of my vibrating brain, and you got a powerful new spell. A spell they do not teach at any college, I'll wager. I am still trying to digest everything Langley told me. There is a lot to sort through. For now, we get on with our lives until he contacts us again. I have a feeling we are at the beginning of a fantastic adventure, my friend.
Ja, ich glaube auch. Ja, und mit diesem Spell, den wir jetzt haben, hätten wir INIGO mit nach Sohn gerade nehmen können. Ah, doof.
Something on your mind? Bye for now.
If you do not mind, when we have a moment, I would like to discuss something with you. Remind me next time we are seated somewhere safe. Langley's house would be a bad idea, though. What I want to discuss concerns him.
Wo möchtest du dich unterhalten?
Any peaceful area with a place for us both to sit will do. An inn or a home would be preferable, but as long as we are not in danger, I really do not mind where we talk.
Okay, wir werden, wenn wir unsere Beine ausruhen, werden wir dann keines Gespräch haben.
Good. It is not a pressing issue, just something I would like to hear your opinion on. What's next?
Wo können wir uns denn hinsetzen? Wo habe ich denn ein Haus? Ich habe ein Haus im Weißlauf.
You want to talk? Go ahead, ask away. Yes, thank you. I will try to be a good guest. What is on your mind? You are still busy? Remember to get me when you are done.
Jetzt muss ich warten, bis er sich hingesetzt hat, ha?
Yes, my friend. You have my full attention. You know where I am. Do not forget about me, please.
Yes? Excellent. What shall we work on this time?
Sneaky.
They'll never see me coming. Shh. Quiet, Lucien. Sneaky Lucien. Let's get moving.
What is on your mind? Greetings. What would you have me do? I will aid you if I can. Ticky break legs. You have earned it. My friend, do you mind if I ask you something? Okay. Langley is a very interesting man. He knows a lot about me, and there is a great deal of evidence that his visions usually come to pass. All that said, we have only just met him. In your heart of hearts, do you think we can trust him?
Ich bin mir nicht sicher. Es würde mich nicht überraschen, wenn er andere Motive hat, dir zu helfen.
It is hard to tell what those other motives could be. I want to believe he is our ally, but your opinion is important to me. I do think that he is mostly good, but perhaps we should be wary just in case. I appreciate your insight, my friend.
What if you don't have a hat?
There is something else I am compelled to mention.
Was ist es?
When you were outside getting those eggs, I told Langley about how you spared my life and my debt to you. He questioned my memory. He said my mind has been through a lot with this skooma, the grief, and the endless battles and so on. He suggested that maybe you are not the person I remember.
Inigo, das habe ich, glaube ich, auch gesagt, als wir uns das erste Mal getroffen haben.
What does Langley know anyway? He does not know you like I do. He does not know about our shared past. No, I will not entertain such a silly idea. I am not confused. I would know you anywhere. You are my friend. End of story. He is just jealous of our friendship. Pay it no mind. Anyway, that is all I wanted to say. Let us talk of other things.
Inigo, ich glaube, wir sollten uns darüber unterhalten, was glaubst du echt sein könnte.
Please, my friend, drop it for now. Maybe later. Are you sitting comfortably?
Ja.
It happened about a week after the Japan job and my betrayal.
Nachdem du mich erschossen hast?
Yes. Sorry again, by the way. After the Japan deal went sour, I managed to score a little skooma on the road. I used it and sat up all night staring at the stars. I decided I would end my life the next day. After what I did to Felix and you, I thought it best for everybody if I just went away.
Ich bin froh, dass du noch da bist.
You are very nice to say such things. I am glad too. I watched the sun come up, then made a noose. My camp was high near the edge of a cliff. I fastened the noose to an overhanging tree branch. I used the last of my skooma, placed the rope around my neck, and jumped off.
Ja, hast du das überlebt?
I will tell you, don't be so impatient. A good story often needs to take its time. I remember falling, the twanging noise as the rope went taut, a brief moment of pain, a snapping noise, I thought it was my neck. Then I was falling again. The cliffs rushed past me. I thought, well, the rope didn't work, but the ground will do the trick. A wide ledge hurried up to meet me. I closed my eyes just before the impact. There was a smashing noise. Then I was underwater.
Was?
I was suddenly underwater. What is so hard to understand? Try to pay attention. I had fallen through a thin layer of rock into a cave. I thought, well, the ground didn't kill me, but drowning should end my sorry life. The gods had other plans, though. A current dragged me to the surface, coughing and spluttering. That's when I heard them.
Spinnen?
I'm afraid not. That would have been nice, though. I heard clucking. I was in a river being swept through a large cavern. It was dark, but I could make out many cages on the bank. Chickens strutted about outside the cages. I could smell magic. I gathered my strength and hauled myself out of the water.
Okay, go on.
Inside the cages, people were bound and gagged. Ignoring the chickens, I rushed over and tried to open the first cage I came to. It was locked tight. Suddenly, I felt a pain in my foot. A chicken was pecking at me. I kicked it away, but it came back with reinforcements.
Go
I
on.
was in a flapping, pecking nightmare. I tried to get back in the water, but before I had gone a few steps, I was knocked unconscious.
Bei einem Huhn?
No, a chicken pecks. It does not try to sneak up behind you and knock you out. I awoke tied to a chair. There was a foul-smelling man studying me. I could hear the river nearby, but now I was in a crypt of some sort. Chickens and rabbits watched me from behind the smelly man. He said he was going to make me useful. I did not like the sound of that.
Was hast du getan?
My options were limited. I had no weapons, but I did have a little time. This fellow liked to talk. I unsheathed my claws and went to work on the ropes that held me to the chair. The man seemed to have a bit to say, so I let him talk. He said he was a powerful wizard and that he had learned how to transform people into animals. Once transformed, he said I would want nothing but to aid him. He said he had a spy network of chickens and rabbits all over Skyrim.
Das erkennt einiges.
Yes, that is what I thought. I asked why only chickens and rabbits. He replied that once I was a chicken, no one would ever take notice of me again. A bear or a mammoth would be too conspicuous. Smaller animals make the best spies. I told him if he turned me into a chicken, I'd peck his eyes out. He told me that the change was not only physical. I would want to do his bidding, nothing else.
Was dachte er zu erreichen?
He said he was using the information his spy network gathered to cause hate across the land. He fed on hate. It made him stronger.
Wie hast du es geschafft, wegzukommen?
I had spied a wooden door in one wall that smelt rotten. As soon as I felt the rope around me give a little, I jumped at the door. It burst open as I hit it, and the chair broke apart. I was free. The wizard screamed in anger and loosed a spell in my direction. I dodged his attack and ran down a long stone tunnel. I heard the smelly wizard begin to laugh. "There is only death that way," he yelled. "Good," I replied. "I've been seeking that all day."
Du warst in einer Traukrypte, ne?
Yes. The smell of bones and dust filled my nose. The wizard did not follow me. I ran for what seemed like forever. Eventually, I came to a vast chamber with a spindly spiral staircase leading up in the center. The floor was littered with dried-out bodies. They had been dead for hundreds of years, but as it turned out, they were still quite feisty. As I made for the staircase, the dead started to groan and move. I jumped over them and began to climb the steps.
Mach weiter.
There were too many Draugr to fight, so I concentrated on climbing. Halfway up, I spotted an opening in the ceiling. The air was fresher up there. That is when I uncharacteristically tripped. I tumbled back down the stairs. Soon the dead reached me. They clawed at me. They held me down. Dry, cracked fingers tore my face to ribbons, giving me these scars. I almost gave up. Then something amazing happened.
Sie sind alle zu Stapfer zerfallen?
That would have been very useful, but alas, it did not happen. I realized I wanted to live. I realized that my life was still worth something. I realized that I could be the person my brother knew again. This realization gave me a strength I never knew I had. I fought back, shouting, "No!" again and again. "No, you will not have my life. No, this is not where I die. No!" I struggled to my feet, fighting all the while. I snapped necks, I broke arms, I gouged out eyes. Somehow, I made it back to the staircase.
Wow.
Yes, it was pretty amazing. If I had not spent all that morning almost dying, I wonder if I'd be here talking to you now. Anyway, I reached the top of the stairs, forced open the hatch above, and stepped out into daylight. I was only a few hundred feet from my camp. I stared at the tree with the snapped rope hanging from it for a long time. I knew I owed much, and swore that I would repay any debt I could. When I realized you had survived, I decided that if anyone was going to take my life, it should be you. You know the rest. That is how I got these scars. It is a good tale, yes?
Es ist eine fantastische Geschichte, Inigo.
Yes, it is. Living it made me the man you see before you. Scars and all. You lead, I follow.
Okay, mit dieser Geschichte enden wir dann die Folge. In der nächsten Folge warten wir dann auf ein Zeichen von Langley. Bis dahin, haltet die Ohren steif. Wir sehen uns. Tschüssen. Bukak.